poop issues, staying strong, transitioning to carnivore, fatigue, staying carnivore when your family doesn't want to, and social situations. Let's dive into my frequently asked questions. What to do at social situations, family gatherings when you are carnivore and others aren't. First of all, stay strong. Just stick to what you're eating. Chances are, unless you are going to a vegan restaurant or a vegan party, that there is going to be a meat option. And if you don't want to tell people why you're eating this way, then you don't have to. If you do want to talk about it, then talk about it and tell them what your journey is and what you're doing. But if you don't want to tell them why you're eating this way and they ask you and they're questioning what you're eating, you can always say you're having some food issues, some intolerances, allergies, maybe you're just playing around with an elimination diet to see what foods can be causing you your distress. Always be sure to either eat beforehand or bring some foods that you know you can eat, or you can just fast. And as far as going out to restaurants, if you are staying away from seed oils, which you should, I highly recommend it, you can ask that any of your meats be cooked in butter. And when ordering, you can get an entree, and say you get a steak with, it comes with like a baked potato. Ask for a loaded baked potato, but without the baked potato. So they'll bring you all the sides, the cheese, the sour cream, the bacon, and you can have that with your steak. Or another option that I like to do because I'm cheap is to just order sides of meats. So kind of like when you can add a side of meat to a salad, they'll kind of list what they have so you can get a side of steak, chicken, shrimp, or fish usually. Someone specifically said that it's summertime and they're out and about with family and friends, they would feel bummed to not be able to get an ice cream cone. Now, my thoughts on this are, if you are someone that hasn't had a wonky past with food and you can have something and get right back on track, I don't think there's anything wrong, now don't come after me, with once in a while having a scoop of ice cream on a hot summer day. However, if that is going to lead into a binge, then I definitely don't recommend doing that. I cannot do that. As much as it sounds like fun to go get an ice cream cone with my kids, bad idea. So in place of that, either don't get anything, don't, get your joy and fun from food. I know that's hard. Or if you want some sort of replacement, maybe get like an iced coffee or even decaf, get some cream. So that to me kind of tastes like dessert. Or you can make carnivore ice cream, and I still need to get that dang waffle cone recipe out to you guys, but I plan on making that with carnivore ice cream, maybe a little bit of fruit in it for my kids this summer. Pooping issues, my favorite thing to talk about. I don't know why. It can be a struggle when you first start eating this way. Getting used to all that high fat, it can cause some issues. Now, some people actually find themselves constipated. There's a few things for that. It could not be constipation. You could just be, we're eating the most nutrient-dense foods. There tends to be a little less waste that your body needs to get rid of. But if you are uncomfortable and it is hurting, like it's definitely constipation, then there's a few things you can do. Make sure you are hydrated, have your electrolytes, especially magnesium, and have more fat. It's typically a fat issue. I would have a little bit more hot rendered fat, because if you have too much, that will go through you. So for those of you that are having issues with loose stools, that is common, but just know that it's usually with the fat, so you may want to ease into having a lot of fat. I would also stay away from hot rendered fat. So if you're cooking ground beef on the stove, then you may want to drain some of that fat. Maybe replace it with some solid butter or some sour cream if you do dairy. Get your fat a different way than having all that loose fat. That can just go right through you. And another thing, if you're having digestion issues, there's two products. There's one ox bile and the other is lipase. I've never tried it. I heard it helps for some people, does nothing for others. It's not something you would want to use long term, but in the transition while you're starting to get used to the fat, it's definitely something you can look into and give it a shot. Staying carnivore when your family isn't. I have empathy for you. That would be rough. Luckily, my husband eats this way, so there's no pushback there. My kids are very animal-based. I feel like this could go a couple different ways. You can either make things for them that you don't want to eat, and hopefully you can be strong, or you make the things you're eating. And if they don't want to eat it, then that's on them. And hopefully the other members in your family can respect what you're doing and why you're doing this. And say they have they like chips and candy and all that, maybe they can keep that in their room and away from you. But if you do have younger kids, then it's much easier. Like I have a 2 and 5-year-old. I have complete control in a way over what they eat. They're not, teenagers that can go drive to the store and get whatever they want. So it definitely is a little bit easier when the kids are younger to help feed them the way that you think is best for them. So I would just keep doing what you're doing, eat how you eat. If it's difficult because they're having other stuff, just remember your why. You just got to stick to it, think why you're doing this and why it's so important to you. And just keep doing what you're doing. They'll see you thriving and looking awesome, and maybe they'll get curious and they'll want to do it as well. What do you do if you are tired on a carnivore diet? So I would look at your overall health and wellness, your life, what you're doing, not just your diet. Are you getting outside and getting sunshine? Are you getting movement in? Are you hydrated? Are you having electrolytes? Are you having too many electrolytes? Are you getting morning sun? How is your sleep? Are you eating enough? That's a big thing. I find a lot of people are under eating. Are you having enough fat? Are you having enough protein? Are you getting enough salt in addition to your electrolytes? How's your digestion? Are you actually able to absorb all the nutrients that you're eating? And it could also be a hormone thing. I like to refer anyone that thinks they might be having any sort of hormone or thyroid issues to Danny Conway. She is amazing. She has her own private practice. She's been doing this for years. And if I had any serious issue that I was concerned about, I would 100% turn to her first. And my last tip would be coffee. Are you drinking a lot of coffee? I just gave coffee up about 7 days ago. I noticed a huge shift in my energy. I was getting tired in the afternoon. Now that I got rid of that caffeine, my energy levels are more stable. So pay attention to how much caffeine you are consuming, either cut back or switch to decaf. Sadly, as much as I love coffee, I am feeling so much better without it. So when I do reintroduce it, I will be adding in more decaf than regular. And last, should you transition into carnivore or go cold turkey? Now, I actually started out as animal-based. I had no intention of going carnivore. My sugar and carb addicted brain was thrilled having the fruits in my diet. So that's how I thought I was going to be. I ended up realizing that that wasn't working for me, but now in hindsight, I feel like it was a great way to transition into this meat-based diet. I don't think there's anything wrong with doing that. I don't think you need to decide and then all of a sudden be like, okay, I got to give it all up. There's nothing wrong with maybe going to more pulling away the processed foods. Start with that, then lowering your carbs again, then maybe try keto for a little bit, and then, gradually remove the plants out of your diet. It can be a lot. If you're going from a standard American diet to carnivore, that's a big shift. And some people do well with that, and that's fine. But if you're hesitant, I don't see anything wrong with easing yourself into it, so that way it can be more sustainable for you. Thank you so much, guys, for watching this. If you enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up, comment, share, and be sure to subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.